Mr. Dada had one rule in his classroom. No child leaves this room believing they are stupid. Every morning, he stood at the center of his class, looked at every face, and made a silent promise: "I will find what you are good at." But there was one child who was about to test that promise in ways he never expected. Her name was Amara. She was quiet, too quiet. While other children raised their hands and shouted answers, Amara sat still, her eyes down, her fingers twisted together under the desk. One day, Mr. Dada crouched beside her and asked softly, "Amara, what is wrong?" She looked up at him with big, worried eyes and whispered, "I don't understand anything, sir. I think I am just dumb." Mr. Dada shook his head slowly. "That is not true, and I am going to prove it to you." The very next day, he called her to the board. The whole class watched. Amara's hands shook as she picked up the chalk. The numbers blurred in front of her eyes. She tried, she failed. She tried again. Then the tears came. They rolled down her cheeks quietly, one by one, as the chalk hung still in her hand. Mr. Dada did not laugh, he did not sigh, he simply stood beside her and said, "Stay right there. I am not leaving you." The class fell completely silent. After school, when every other child had gone home, Mr. Dada called Amara to his desk. He reached into his drawer and pulled out a framed photograph. A woman with a warm smile lying in a hospital bed, holding a little girl. "That is my daughter," he said quietly. "She struggled in school too. Everyone told her she was slow." Amara stared at the photo. What happened to her? Mr. Dada was quiet for a moment. "She is gone now, but before she left, she became one of the best students in her school." He looked at Amara. She just needed one person to believe in her. Amara wiped her eyes. "I want to be like her," she whispered. "Then come back tomorrow," he said. The next morning, it was raining. Most children were late, but when Mr. Dada arrived, someone was already there, standing at the door, soaking wet, school bag on her back, notebook in hand. Amara. She had walked in the rain to get there early. Mr. Dada opened the door without a word. He sat at his desk, she sat in her chair, and they worked together in that quiet, rainy classroom for one full hour before the others arrived. This happened every single day for 3 weeks. Then, one bright morning, Mr. Dada wrote a long, difficult problem on the board. "Who wants to try?" he asked. No hand went up. Then, slowly, one hand rose in the back. Amara walked to the board. Her steps were steady this time. Her hand did not shake. She picked up the chalk and she solved the whole problem, step by step, all the way to the answer. The class erupted. Mr. Dada did not clap loudly or make a big speech. He just smiled, the kind of smile that goes all the way to the eyes, and said, "I knew it." The next day, Amara placed a folded piece of paper on his desk before class started. He opened it slowly. Inside, in careful, colorful letters, it read, "Thank you, Mr. Dada, Amara." That was all. 6 words. But Mr. Dada had to take off his glasses and look away for a moment because his eyes were no longer dry. Word spread quickly. Parents heard about the teacher who stayed late in the rain, who never shouted, who never gave up, whose students were starting to love numbers, love words, love learning. Children who had failed in other schools started arriving at his door. The classroom that once had empty seats was now full of laughter, full of questions, full of noise. The good kind of noise that sounds like children finally believing in themselves. The blackboard no longer just said Amara's class. It now said Marie Dada's school. Because a good teacher does not just teach one child. A good teacher builds a whole world. Sometimes, one person who refuses to give up on you changes everything.